Hey, Katie Boo. Hey, girl. How be you? I made a new public folder. I titled it Bitch AI Voices Talking Like a Bitch or whatever. Shit. And the two of them that I got in there so far are those, creepy encounters caught on camera, camping shit. Just kind of by chance. I like to watch them alone late at night for some reason. You might not want to. But again, a lot of that stuff I'm gonna have to call bullshit on. Because if you're you know what I mean? Because it's too, it's like, here, this will get a bunch of views, But, and especially, like I said, the example, the Bigfoot enthusiast has seen Bigfoot, all over the place. And one might argue with that's because he's looking for him. Yeah, whatever. I think we would have found them by now if they existed. So if they was out there in the wilderness. And as I said before, it's never been easier to fake shit these days, but it's also never been easier to prove shit. So, people tell stories. They've been doing it forever. I've got a few. They're extremely boring. The orb and the quote-unquote UFO, And I've got some other shit that I don't want to talk about it. No, it's not like nothing dramatic or anything. I've mentioned it before. I just... I'd rather not. To save time. But anyway. Like the one, that Bigfoot in the wilderness or whatever, and the growls and the rustling and the howling, and it's like at first it's like, okay, that could be a fox or something, because a lot of times animals sound weird, and like I said, it depends on the time of the year. Like elk. There was this one video, I think it was, it's like you expect elk, to make that sound, but this one made like a fucking screeching sound, and it's like, I don't know, I don't remember what it was, but I guess it was like, yeah, it's just an elk, or a fucking skunk or some shit, like the one where those two dudes are in the tent. I think I posted that. It's like, man, I don't know. Is there a third dude out there, and you guys are just doing this video? Maybe, maybe not. There's never any video evidence. Not good shit, anyway. It's always blurry or whatever. I mean, AI comes up with some pretty decent shit these days, so I guess you could. But the one where that guy... So, hang on, let me blow my nose. And why do these hunters always find themselves walking in the forest after dark? Just seems kind of stupid to me. But I think that was staged with those shelters and whatnot. I just, you know what I mean? If maybe, you could have, caught something on camera, and it looked legit. It didn't look like AI, He was awfully calm considering the situation that he was in. You know what I mean? His breathing wasn't like accelerated and stuff. And I don't know, man. So, same thing with the other dude. I think that was posted where their like truck broke down. The dogs, where were they at though? I guess was there other people around that could hear that? Maybe it's staged or maybe it's not. But you kind of got to approach things from skepticism. Again, there is such a thing as like pure terror. And these people are just like, whoa, what's that? Like the one guy, again, with the shots, close up of the face and stuff, that just seems like kind of something out of a movie. Then he's all, let's try and get some sleep. We'll hike out in the morning. If I were in that situation, even if I wanted to get some sleep, I would not be able to. And is falling asleep really the best idea? Maybe you should just stay up all damn night. There's two of you, so in theory you could do it in shifts, but, then, you both might accidentally fall asleep. Now, again, it's like, okay, maybe technically that could be some weird, badger or a skunk, that's, like the Tasmanian devil, for example, which is, I think it lives in Australia. It makes weird-ass sounds. So it's like, maybe it's sick, maybe it's got a damaged throat. Maybe that's just a normal sound that they make sometimes. So, yeah, animals can make some weird fucking sounds. And they can be creepy. But, like I said, and the one guy, again, when he wakes up, after getting drugged to a den or whatever, and just left, he's walking around, it's like if you were truly in a situation like that, he just seems really, really calm, and, I'd be booking it, I wouldn't be walking around getting footage, of a Bigfoot village or whatever, So, I hope it doesn't creep you out too much, Katie Boo, if you watch that shit. So, guess that's all I got to say, bye-bye. And I added another one to the AI BS and fake shit. And again, you can tell right away. It's just, yep, this is too crisp. This is too clean. This is AI. And that's what I mean, like if you actually captured like a charging, like picture a wild boar, which is another animal that makes crazy, scary ass, sounds. Because, there's the stuff that that kind of the oinking, grunting or whatever. But I mean, they can straight up, do these weird fucking howls and shit. Where it's like if you heard that at night, you'd be like, I mean, it would be that, instant adrenaline dump into your system, fight or flight, It'd scare the fucking shit out of you if you didn't know what it was. So, but I think most of it, I'd even go as far as say all of it is staged, especially the extreme shit, So, you gotta, the paranormal researcher is always going to find paranormal activity. The Bigfoot researcher is always going to find Bigfoot. There's stuff like that. And then there's just Joe Blow, I record my camping shit. Hey, if I were to do a creepy video and post that, that'd probably get me a lot of views. Let's not forget, everybody's the star in their own movie culture that we currently live in, YouTubers, podcasters, Instagrammers, This is all pretty common shit. So, but there is more to this world than we know. I know that for an absolute fact. I mean, all of the stuff that I've mentioned, for any of my faithful online family and friends, all of it, it's like, okay, all right, it's something. But Bigfoot out in the forest, I'm gonna say no. So, and I've heard, that animals have like a sixth sense and stuff, and those dogs were acting, fairly. The one was pretty calm. The one was more curious, which again is like, I don't know, man. I don't know, And if that was, just some, dude walking through the ravine with, a loudspeaker playing that shit so they could get it captured or whatever, it's like, okay, yeah, the dog's kind of, I don't know. I mean, I get it, that they'd be, not vocal because it was something that they didn't recognize, but it almost did seem a little bit kind of too calm, because dogs can get scared too, you know what I mean? And the one was chill, and the one was just sort of looking, but it wasn't like losing its shit, so. And, if I truly heard that, be it some sort of prank or whatever, I mean, yeah, just all night until morning, I would be exhausted by sunrise. Because I would just be sitting there perfectly still, not making any noise, thinking, about an encounter. And there'd be adrenaline coursing through my veins, and my heart would just be boom, 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 just all fucking night. I wouldn't be like, man, what is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? So. You scared, Mama? I'm a little nervous. Oh, really? Is you? So. Anyway. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.